Are you a local? Because if you're not, you can't watch this video. You gotta go.
You gotta go.
Get out of here. Go. The surfer. The surfer.
The surfer, suffer.
Suffers. The suffer surfer. Nicolas Cage. I mean, I feel like Nick Cage movies are a subgenre all to themselves, right? There's like action movies, there's dramas, there's this, there's that, and there's Nicolas Cage films.
Yes.
And, you know, some movies that Nicolas Cage are in are not really Nicolas Cage films, right? There's like Nicolas Cage vehicles that the whole movie is built around the personality of Nick Cage.
Yeah.
And that's the selling point for the film.
Yeah.
Right? The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent recently. That is a Nick Cage film. It is completely centered around who he is, how he is. Right? And The Surfer is another very much Nick Cage film.
Yeah.
You do not make this film with another actor. This is completely built around Cage's persona and his nuttiness. I was promised by your mom you would not squeak this. That you just wanted to sit here with it, not squeak it.
He told me. That's all he wanted to do, but...
So, yeah. We have our main character, played by Mr. Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
And he... in the credits is listed as the surfer. He is taking his kid to the beach he grew up on because he wants to buy a house there. And his dream, ever since he was a child, was to return to Australia to this very specific beach that he grew up on. He's going to buy this house that his dad used to own, and he's going to surf those waves with his son.
Yeah.
And redeem his memories of childhood. And there are these local surfers down on the beach who do not want to let anybody who hasn't been approved by them to surf there.
Yeah.
And basically the whole film takes place primarily in the parking lot at the top of the hill where Nick Cage can't seem to cross that borderline to get down to the beach. And it's really just him sitting around there trying desperately to get what he wants ultimately. You know, Kaylee and I, we are watching a bunch of similar-ish films, kind of, right now. But this is, for all intents and purposes, this is an obsession thriller. Typically, though, in obsession thrillers, you have a character who's obsessed with another character. And this is a guy who's obsessed with a specific location.
Yeah. Which
reminds me a lot of the movie Dream Home, which is a Hong Kong horror film that I love. But yeah, this worked for me so well. This is such a wonderful film for Nicolas Cage because it is so unhinged. It is so frantic. It is so absolutely insane the entire time. But I will say that Nick Cage is playing a different character than normal. He's much more pathetic and obsessive in this. I'm so used to him being like the cool guy or like the badass. And he's so not that here.
No, he's not.
He's this like family man who, you know, he has made some money and all he really wants is to just go surf. And these guys are bullying him beyond.
Yes, they are.
And he sits there and takes it way more than anyone would ever believe a human would.
Most definitely, yeah. Yeah, I think that this is a very, like, it's definitely an experience of a film. There's some really, as we just said, kind of like unbelievable, like, lengths to which Nicolas Cage's character is treated and how he acts and stuff. And it's very interesting. I think there's a lot that you can kind of take from the film, because I feel like we talked a little bit about it after we got out of the theater. It sort of does have a straightforward story, but then there's also, I think, a way that you can look at it as very kind of symbolic and maybe not as straightforward as you might think, I guess.
Yeah.
That's kind of vague, but I think if you see the film, you'll understand what I mean by that. I feel like there's a few different, like, layers to the story. And anyway, I did like Nick Cage's performance in this. I do feel like I don't know, I mean, I guess you're right, he maybe is a little bit more pathetic than some of his other characters, but it definitely is, like, Nick Cage. Like, he's not, he's recognizable in this role. But there's some really good moments with him, and I like Nick Cage's acting. I think, most people are either, like, big Nick Cage fans, or they're like, they just aren't into him. Yeah. So if you are a fan of Nick Cage, you'll want to see this, of course. And then the other characters in this, I recognize the other actor, but I don't know his name. I liked his performance a lot too, and I think that this is, like, going to be one of those movies that you'll watch and feel very like frustrated and, like, secondhand kind of, like, anger towards the way characters are being treated by others.
Oh, God.
Like, there's a lot of bullying and just, like, stuff that you would, if you were there, like, there's no way you would stand around and just, like, let people treat others that way. At least you shouldn't if you're a good person. But that adds to the, like, kind of mild horror aspect of everything, and I think that the film has a very dreamlike quality, clearly, very reality adjacent, very much not, like, grounded in any kind of realism. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of plays out like, I feel like I said this about another film we watched in the last year or so, but it plays out almost like a teenage bullying film, but with adults.
Yeah, kind of.
Where it's like this kid really wants to surf down by the beach, but there's these, like, other kids that won't let him, and I don't. It's more believable when it's a child.
Yeah.
But because Nick Cage is, like, 60, it doesn't seem the way an adult would act at all. So the film is extremely reality adjacent. The film is meant to be extremely upsetting. You're meant to be completely off kilter the whole time.
Yeah.
You're supposed to feel as insane as he does. Like, there's a lot of gaslighting that goes on. There's Definitely. An insane amount of bullying where you're just sitting there rooting for everyone to be murdered viciously. You're just like, I hate every fucking person in this movie.
Yes.
And everything is meant to be extremely uncomfortable. Like, even the way that everything is shot, like, I would say 20% of the movie is in extreme close-ups.
Yes.
Of, like, people's eyes or their mouths.
Yeah, and there's also,
it's like invading their personal space.
Yeah, weird shots like that for sure.
And a lot of, like kind of, like, drug fueled visuals
and stuff. Mm-hmm.
A lot of spinning of the camera, a lot of, like, tilted shots, a lot of blurry shots, a lot of things that make you feel uneasy and as I said, off kilter.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
And that just adds to it, because where he starts and the journey he goes through,
it's quite a transformation.
Yes.
That's the big part of the film, I would say, is watching his journey.
Definitely do not expect anything even remotely realistic. His obsession and their level of bullying are both insanely unbelievable. Right? Like, this is just not part of the real world at all. Yeah. Like, are there people who are bullies and are like very territorial about their place and this is a locals only kind of thing. 100%. Those places exist like that. But these guys are straight up like cult members. And they are just there 24/7.
Yeah.
And he has a job. He has a kid. He has a freaking like life. And somehow he spends an unbelievable amount of time. I don't even know. It's an undetermined amount of time, but it feels like weeks.
Yeah.
At this in this parking lot where it's just like, take the cue, get the fuck out of here. But he's just like, I'm not backing down. I'm getting what I want. He's
very determined and very stubborn. Yeah.
To say the least.
Yeah.
The ridicule that they put him through, the abuse that he endures is just so over the top. And it was a very, very frustrating watch for sure, but in an enjoyable way, because I was laughing a bunch. Because he goes to such extremes. He does such disgusting things. There's these moments in the film that are so ridiculous. And, our whole theater was busting up laughing at certain points. There wasn't, unfortunately, a lot of people there. There's probably like 7 or 8 people on opening night. So that sucks.
Yes.
Because this feels like a film from a different time. This does not feel like a film that I go to see today in theaters.
Yeah.
This feels nothing like anything I watch in theaters currently. This feels like an exploitation film from like the 70s. Mm-hmm. This feels like, from a bygone era. Mm-hmm. This is a thriller from 40 or 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Where it's just the characters are so absurd. Everything like Straw Dogs or something, where you're just like, no one would sit there and take this much. Like, you just leave.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be a lot of people, but I feel like a lot of people go to this and because it's Nick Cage, they're going to accept it more.
Yeah.
Than if it wasn't Nick Cage, people would be like, no fucking way, this guy would still be here. So I feel like the saving grace of the film is that it is a Nick Cage film.
Yeah.
And people have been like, taught how to watch a Nick Cage film by this point.
Definitely, yeah. I think I think that'll help a lot with the story for many people. Is that just the type of movies that Nick Cage is in usually? Yeah. Yeah. This is definitely what you would expect him to be in. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, big win for me.
Yeah, that's great.
I will say this, the movie is very surprising. Because it did not go the ways that I thought it was going to go. I thought it was building to a much different ending than it had.
Yeah.
But it was a satisfying ending, even though it was definitely not the ending I was expecting and wanted.
Yeah.
So I was actually pretty surprised in the end, because like right as the last thing happens and the title card comes up, I was like, oh, okay, that's not what I wanted at all. That's not what I expected at all. But I'm still happy with that.
Yeah, yeah. I like the ending.
So there's like a catharsis to it, but a very unexpected one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was unexpected, but I enjoyed it. I think it fits the film really well. And I think it works. So. Yeah,
so don't go see this if you're on drugs. Don't go see this if you have like a fever. Yeah. I shouldn't say go see this, because you wouldn't do that. But like, don't watch this at home if you're like super sick and you're feeling off and your brain is not working correctly. Like you're gonna be like, this is too much, man.
Yeah.
You're gonna start wigging out.
It'll be very disorienting.
Yeah, you will feel just as insane as the character gets by the end of the film.
Yes.
They do a very good job of kind of breaking you down throughout the film like they do the character.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're questioning things just as much.
Because, like, part of you is like, no, don't fucking leave. You don't give in. Fuck these guys.
Right.
Right? Kill them all. Fuck this. This is your goddamn beach. These guys don't deserve it. So I'm, like, rooting for him, but at the same time, in the back of my head, logically, I'm like, fucking leave.
Yes.
Just fucking leave. But then the more alpha, like, aggressive part of me is like,
left.
no, motherfucker, you ain't winning. So, like, I get it. It's unbelievable. But I fully, like, it's that, like, carnal part of you that's like, no, I'm standing my ground. Everyone thinks I'm insane, but I'm getting what I want.
That's him.
Fuck all y'all.
That's him in this movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I support it because I think it's like, that's what's great about film, is that we, in a real life, 99.99999% of us would just get in our car and fucking leave.
Of course. Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's like, he goes to such lengths to get this house, because that's another whole part of the film, is like the financing's not going through and he just keeps pushing for it. And everyone keeps thinking he's fucking insane.
Yeah.
And he's just like, no, I have to have it. And just these moments, these nice, calm, quiet moments he keeps having where he's like, he's looking at the ocean and this view. And it's like a scene like when a guy sees the most beautiful woman he's ever seen in his life. And it's just this, like, he's so stunned, and it's like this moment in time where he's just stuck, and you can tell they do such a good job of showing us how important this is to him. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, like, I never, even though it's unbelievable, I never questioned his motive
Definitely
for, like,
not.
sticking around.
Yeah, definitely not.
I always was very clear
Yeah.
on his desires.
Yes.
He's not giving up.
You know how important it is to him, for sure. Yeah.
And I loved that about the movie, because there's so many movies we watch where that's just, I just don't feel it. I'm like, they don't care that much. Like, they should just leave. This isn't important enough. Oh my God, nothing's ever been more important to anyone ever.
It's true.
This is the most important thing that's ever been to any human ever. He has to have this beach.
Yes. Does he get it? You'll have to watch
You'll have to watch and wait and see.
And find out.
So yeah, this comes out tomorrow. We got to see an early screening, and I, if you are a Nick Cage fan, I think you will be very happy.
I do too.
If you are somebody who hates Nick Cage and you're like, will this win me over? No,
it won't. It will not win you over if you don't like him already.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. I'm just really happy with this movie, and I like talking about him. So I always kind of ramble for too long in these reviews, and I'm always just like, I should have ended this 10 fucking minutes ago. I should learn how to, I should know when to leave.
Leave the beach.
I should take my own damn advice.
Locals only.
Just go. Get gone. And then you, like, pan down right now and you look that there's 10 more minutes of this video. You're like, how the fuck? No, fine. No. I'll cut it off here. All right, Grogs, you can squeak this toy now. Have at it. All right, guys. Adios.